Homemade Kelp Noodles Recipe by Teresa from the White Cat channel. Here's a list of ingredients you will need. Feel free to take a screenshot. 4 cups of water, filtered or distilled, not from the tap. 2 teaspoons kelp powder. 8 teaspoons of sodium alginate powder. 12 cups of water. 2 teaspoons of calcium chloride. Here's a list of optional ingredients. Some lemon juice and baking soda. You'll need these if you want to soften your noodles. Here's a list of equipment you will need. Feel free to take a screenshot. These include a high-speed blender, measuring cups and spoons, long-handled spoon or spatula, large mixing bowl, a condiment squeeze bottle with a multi-tip lid, a mesh strainer or colander with small holes, and a pair of scissors. Follow these steps to make the noodles. Pour 4 cups of water into the blender. Turn the blender on low and the water should form a vortex. Add 2 teaspoons of kelp powder into that vortex and blend well. Keep the blender on low and sprinkle 8 teaspoons of sodium alginate powder into the center of the vortex. Turn the blender on high and blend until no lumps remain. The mixture will turn thick. Turn off the blender and scrape the sides to make sure that all the sodium alginate is blended in, and blend more if you need to. Turn off the blender then and pour the liquid into the condiment squeeze bottles. Let this liquid sit for at least 1 hour until all the bubbles have left the liquid. You can refrigerate it up to 24 hours if you want to use it later. Now make the calcium water bath by pouring 12 cups of water into the large bowl. And then add 2 teaspoons of calcium chloride and stir until it is fully dissolved. To make the noodles, invert the squeeze bottle and rest it on the edge of the bowl, and keep the tip ends about 1 inch above the water's surface. Stir the water gently so it flows in a circular motion. Gently squeeze the mixture into the calcium water bath. Stir and squeeze at the same time. This is a live demonstration. We're just going to take our bottle, put it upside down, let it drip into the water, and we are going to just swirl, swirl, swirl. And then I'm applying an even pressure on the bottle. And don't worry if it stops and starts, just keep swirling the water around. And if you want bigger noodles, just squeeze a little harder. Oops. There you go. That'll happen. And then as it goes into the water, this is actually calcium water, and its reaction, the sodium alginate grabs onto the calcium and becomes firm. Just make as many noodles as you want. I have found that when you're squeezing, you don't want the noodles to be really large or really fine. The ones that are fine will have kind of a stringy texture, and if you make them really large, the sodium alginate, when it grabs onto the calcium, it'll just have the calcium reaction on the outside of the noodle, and you might have a noodle that's hollow inside with some unthickened liquid that's on the inside. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it, but it's kind of, I don't like it. And when it does happen, I always cut them and try to squeeze it out as much as I can. Okay, I'm going to stop. I don't know if you can see these. They're noodles, but what I usually like to do, I like at least 20 minutes in this bath for them to firm up even more. See the noodles? So after the 20 minutes, I will check them again to see if they're firm enough, and then I will rinse them in some water, give them a taste and another chew. The proof is in the chewing. If they're too thin, I don't like that texture, but if they're too large, again, like here's a really large one. If you pull it apart, you can get some juice to come out, and that's the part I'm talking about. If it's too thick, it won't solidify all the way through. I mean, it might be an okay way to make flat noodles. Just get the juice out, but I don't like them that way. I just like them just right. So it takes practice and knowing your utensil, you know, how much to squeeze and how much not to squeeze. Yeah, these are getting really nice. And then after the 20 minutes, I'll just go ahead and cut them. It makes it easier to work with and rinse. Just a reminder to keep the diameter even and allow the noodles to sit in the calcium water for 20 minutes. Afterwards, remove them, drain them, and rinse them really well. Good time to cut them with the scissors too, so they're easier to work with. Lastly, make sure you test the chewability. If they're acceptable, you're done. Otherwise, if they're too firm, you gotta move on to the next step. In a separate bowl, mix together 2 or 3 teaspoons of lemon juice and 1 teaspoon of baking soda. Now place the noodles into that bowl with the mixture. Knead them really well for about 20 to 50 seconds or until the noodles are as soft as you want. It happens fast, so make sure to test the noodles often. Rinse them really, really well when you're done, and enjoy your noodles. This recipe makes 22 ounces of kelp noodles at a cost of about 10 cents per ounce. Store-bought kelp noodles come in 12-ounce bags and cost roughly 30 cents to 60 cents or more per ounce. You'll be glad to know that 4 ounces of kelp noodles only has 6 calories. This is Teresa from the White Cat channel, and thanks again for watching. Talk to you later. Bye.